When you start to level up, people notice. They might not say it out loud, but trust me, they see it. They see the way your energy shifts, the way your posture changes, the way you no longer walk into a room hoping to be liked. You walk in knowing your worth. They notice the glow on your face, not just from how you look, but from the peace you carry. They notice the way you don't react the same, the way you hold yourself differently, the way you set boundaries without fear. At first, it might intimidate them. Some people will pull away because your growth forces them to confront their own stagnancy. Others will try to bring you down because your light exposes the shadows they've been hiding in. But that's not your problem. Your job isn't to dim your light so they can feel comfortable. It's to shine so bright that you become a reminder of what's possible. People notice when you stop begging for attention, when you stop chasing validation, when you stop tolerating the bare minimum. They notice when you start investing in yourself, when you start carrying yourself like you deserve the best, when you start moving in silence, building a life that speaks louder than any words could. They notice when you choose solitude over fake connections, peace over chaos, discipline over comfort. The beauty of leveling up is that you don't have to announce it. You don't have to scream, "I've changed." Your aura does the talking. Your results do the talking. Your energy does the talking. And whether they applaud you or resent you, the fact remains they notice. And here's the truth. You didn't do all of this so they would notice. You did it because you got tired of betraying yourself. You did it because you realized you were meant for more. You did it because staying the same was too expensive. It cost you your peace, your confidence, your self-worth. So let them whisper, let them wonder, let them stare. Because leveling up isn't about them. It's about you stepping into the version of yourself you were always meant to be. And once you start walking in that power, once you start carrying yourself like you know who you are, there is no going back. When you begin to level up, the first thing that changes is not your surroundings, not the clothes you wear, not even the way people treat you. The first thing that shifts is your energy. Energy cannot be faked. You can dress up in the most expensive outfit, put on the best makeup, walk into the fanciest room. But if your energy is insecure, people will sense it. And the opposite is also true. You could be in the simplest clothes, barely saying a word, and yet people turn their heads because they can feel something different radiating from you. That's what happens when you start standing in your worth. Your energy speaks long before you open your mouth. People notice subtle things. The way you walk into a room not seeking validation, but carrying yourself with quiet assurance. The way you no longer rush to fill silence with nervous chatter. The way your body language shifts, shoulders back, chin lifted, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. They notice that you are no longer desperate for attention because your presence alone demands it. And here's the thing. This doesn't happen because you suddenly became perfect. It happens because you finally decided to stop betraying yourself. You stopped playing small just to make others comfortable. You stopped watering yourself down in fear of being too much. You started to move like someone who knows their value and people feel that vibration whether they want to or not. And it makes them curious. They start to wonder, what changed? Did you get a new job? Did you fall in love? Did you suddenly get lucky? But the truth is, it wasn't luck, it was alignment. You aligned yourself with your power, and that power shows. That glow they see isn't always from skincare or makeup. It's from peace. It's from choosing not to settle. It's from protecting your energy and walking away from things that don't serve you anymore. That glow is the reward for discipline, for consistency, for finally respecting yourself. The most powerful part is that you don't have to say a word. You don't need to announce to the world, "I've changed." You don't need to convince anyone that you've grown. Your energy does the talking for you. It enters the room before you do. It makes people pay attention even when you're silent. That's the beauty of leveling up. You don't chase recognition, but it finds you anyway. There's a confidence that comes from knowing you're no longer the same person you used to be, the one who begged for love, the one who tolerated disrespect, the one who said yes when they wanted to say no. That version of you died the moment you chose yourself. And people notice when you make that decision. They might not say it to your face, but they see it. They feel it. They're watching you, silently wondering how you did it, how you suddenly carry yourself with such grace, such power. But let me tell you something, what they're seeing now is only the beginning, because once your energy shifts, everything else follows. Your environment starts to change. Opportunities appear. The right people are drawn to you. And it's not because the world suddenly decided to favor you. It's because you finally decided to favor yourself. You finally decided to show up as someone who deserves good things. And that belief changes everything. The old version of you was always trying to explain themselves, always trying to prove their worth, always exhausting themselves in the process. The new version of you doesn't explain, they simply exist. They don't beg, they attract. They don't settle, they choose. And that silent transformation is louder than any words could ever be. People notice when you level up, not because you told them, but because your energy makes it undeniable. So don't be surprised when you start walking into rooms and the atmosphere shifts. Don't be surprised when people start looking at you differently, treating you differently, even resenting you. It's all confirmation that your energy has elevated. You don't need validation, but the way people react to you is proof that your growth is real. Your energy is the billboard for your soul. It tells the world how you see yourself. When you carry yourself like someone worthy of respect, the world has no choice but to notice. And whether they love it or hate it, whether they applaud you or whisper behind your back, one truth remains. They feel it. They see it. They notice. When you start growing, when you begin to elevate, not everyone will clap for you. In fact, some people will distance themselves and will question you, and some will even try to drag you back down. And it's not because you did anything wrong. It's because your growth shines a light on their stagnancy. Your progress forces them to look in the mirror, and what they see is uncomfortable. When you rise, you become a reminder of what they could be doing but aren't. That makes them restless, that makes them bitter. And instead of choosing to grow with you, many will choose to pull away from you. Understand this, people are not always upset with you. They're upset with themselves. They feel your energy shifting, and it makes them realize they stay the same. They notice you setting boundaries. They notice you refusing to tolerate disrespect. They notice you carrying yourself like someone who knows their worth. And deep down, they know they could be doing the same, but they haven't. That gap between who they are and who you are becoming creates tension. Some people can't handle that tension, so instead of facing it, they project it onto you. They'll gossip, they'll criticize, they'll minimize your progress, but none of that is truly about you. It's about their own insecurities being exposed by your light. This is why you cannot shrink yourself just to keep others comfortable. You cannot play small so they won't feel intimidated. You cannot go back to your old ways just to make them like you again. That's not growth, that's betrayal of yourself. And you've already betrayed yourself enough times. Now it's time to rise without apology. Because here's the truth. The people who truly love you will celebrate your elevation. They will be inspired by it. They will cheer for you, not because they gained something from it, but because they want to see you shine. The ones who pull away were never meant to stay. There's something powerful that happens when you stop tolerating the bare minimum. When you say, I'm not accepting less than what I deserve, some people will feel threatened. They liked you better when you were desperate, when you were easy to manipulate, when you didn't know your value. They benefited from your lack of boundaries. Now that you've leveled up, now that you're saying no, now that you're walking away from things that no longer serve you, they can't use you the same way. That loss of control frustrates them, and instead of respecting your growth, they'll try to shame you for it. But you have to remember, their opinion does not define you. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. You didn't level up to please them. You leveled up to save yourself. You leveled up because staying the same was suffocating you. You leveled up because you realized your worth. And that realization is more powerful than any criticism could ever be. Yes, it hurts when people you thought would support you begin to resent you. It hurts when the ones you love don't understand the changes you're making. But pain is part of growth. Flowers don't bloom without breaking through the soil, and you cannot reach the next level of your life if you keep dragging along people who refuse to grow with you. Sometimes the universe removes them because their season in your story is over. The most liberating part is when you realize you don't need everyone to understand you. You don't need everyone to clap for you. You don't need the validation of those who choose to stay behind. Your only job is to keep moving forward. Because for every person who feels threatened by your growth, there are others who will be inspired by it. For every door that closes, another opens. For every relationship that ends, space is made for one that will truly align with your new energy. Your growth is a mirror. It reflects to others what they could be doing. Some will take that reflection as motivation. Others will take it as offense. You can't control their reaction. What you can control is how you respond. Will you dim your light to keep them comfortable, or will you keep shining until the right people find you? The truth is, the ones who try to hold you back were never capable of walking with you into your next chapter. They were only meant to be part of the version of you that was still learning, still doubting, still settling. But the version of you that is leveling up, the version doesn't need their approval, doesn't need their company, doesn't need their validation. That version of you knows that growth will expose people's insecurities. And that's okay, because your job was never to heal their insecurities. Your job was to step into your power, no matter who gets uncomfortable along the way. You don't have to tell the world that you've changed. You don't have to stand on a stage and announce, I've leveled up. Real transformation is silent. It's not in the words, it's in the actions. It's in the discipline that no one sees. It's in the nights you chose to work on yourself instead of wasting time. It's in the mornings you forced yourself to get up when you didn't feel like it. It's in the way you started choosing peace over drama, solitude over fake friendships, self-respect over temporary validation. That's where the true evidence of growth lives, in the choices you make when no one is watching. When you level up, you start realizing that you don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need to explain why you're different now. People will see it for themselves. They'll notice the way you respond differently. They'll notice you no longer react to every little thing. You no longer chase, you no longer settle. They'll notice the way your standards rise, the way your circle shifts, the way your priorities change. You don't even have to mention it. Your energy, your results, your presence, they speak louder than words ever could. That's the beauty of silent growth. You stop wasting energy on proving yourself. You stop arguing with people who will never understand you. You stop needing to defend your decisions. Because when you truly start to elevate, you realize that real power doesn't shout, it whispers. Real confidence doesn't need to be announced, it's felt. Real change doesn't need validation, it simply exists. Think about it, when you were in your old habits, when you were tolerating less, when you were living in cycles of self-betrayal, you probably tried so hard to explain yourself. You wanted people to see your potential, to acknowledge your worth, to validate your efforts, and yet all that explaining left you empty. Because no matter how much you talked, people only saw the version of you that you allowed them to see. Now you don't explain, you embody, you live it, you walk it, you breathe it. And it's undeniable. People notice when you're not posting about your every move, but your life is still shifting. They notice when you're not talking about your glow up, but your aura feels different. They notice when you're not bragging about your discipline, but they can see the results in your body, in your habits, in your energy. They notice when you're not screaming about your boundaries, but they can feel the strength in the way you carry yourself. Silent growth is powerful because it speaks for itself. The world's full of people who announce things they never follow through on. People who talk about changing but never do. People who post about healing but live the same toxic cycles. That's why when you actually grow, when you actually shift, when your actions actually align with your words, it's impossible not to notice. People can feel when something is real. They can sense when you've truly done the work. And here's the best part. You don't even care if they notice. Because the reward is not their recognition, it's your peace. It's the way you feel when you wake up in the morning knowing you're no longer the same person. It's the quiet pride of keeping promises to yourself. It's the freedom of no longer needing applause to validate your worth. That's what leveling up is really about. The outside world noticing is just a side effect. So don't waste time explaining your growth. Don't try to convince anyone that you've changed. Don't waste energy proving yourself to people who were never meant to understand. Just keep moving in silence. Let your actions speak. Let your glow confuse them. Let your discipline inspire them. Let your peace intimidate them. Because the truth is, silence is the loudest flex. Your life will begin to speak for you. The way you carry yourself will speak. The way you no longer tolerate chaos will speak. The way your energy feels calmer, stronger, untouchable, that will speak. And the ones who doubted you will have no choice but to see it. Not because you told them, but because your transformation is undeniable. People respect results, not explanations. They might question your silence now, but later they will respect the life you built quietly. So don't announce it, don't argue about it. Don't explain it. Live it, because real growth doesn't beg to be seen. It shines so brightly that it cannot be ignored. You didn't level up for them. You didn't wake up one day and decide to rebuild your entire life so that others could notice you, so that others could approve of you, so that others could applaud you. That was never the point. You leveled up because you were tired of betraying yourself. You leveled up because you were done with living a life that didn't reflect your worth. You leveled up because the cost of staying the same was becoming too heavy. It was draining your peace, your confidence, your self-love. The truth is, this journey was never about proving anything to anyone. It was about proving something to yourself. You had to face the uncomfortable reality that you were settling, that you were tolerating less than you deserved, that you were shrinking yourself just to fit into spaces that were never designed for you. That kind of self-betrayal eats you alive from the inside. It leaves you restless. It leaves you unfulfilled. And at some point, you realize enough was enough. You made the decision to step into the version of yourself that you always knew existed, but that you kept burying under fear, doubt, and insecurity. When people notice your growth, it's flattering, yes, but it's not the reward. The real reward is the way you feel now, the way your spirit feels lighter, because you're no longer carrying the weight of other people's expectations, the way your mind feels clearer because you finally cut out the noise, the way your heart feels stronger because you no longer settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole table. That's the real reward. It's not the applause. It's the peace. It's not the attention. It's the alignment. That's why you have to remind yourself over and over again. This journey is about you. It's about the nights you cried yourself to sleep, but still chose to get up the next morning and keep going. It's about the days when you didn't feel like it, but you showed up anyway. It's about the promises you kept to yourself when no one else was watching. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just talk about growth, but actually lives it. And because it's about you, people's opinions can no longer hold power over you. Whether they applaud you or resent you, it doesn't matter. Whether they whisper about you or cheer for you, it doesn't matter. Because you didn't do this for them. You didn't transform your life so they would notice you transformed your life, so you would never again abandon yourself. That's the shift that changes everything. When you no longer live for external validation, when you no longer crave recognition, when you no longer need people to see your worth, you free yourself. You free yourself from the endless cycle of seeking approval. You free yourself from the exhaustion of trying to prove yourself. You free yourself from the chains of insecurity that kept you small for so long. That freedom is priceless. And here's the beautiful part. When you level up for yourself, the right people are drawn to you. People who align with your new energy. People who respect your boundaries. People who celebrate your growth without feeling threatened by it. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to beg for their presence. They'll come naturally because your energy will attract what matches it. That's what happens when you live in alignment. You become magnetic. But even then, the core truth remains. Even if no one clapped, even if no one noticed, even if no one said a single word about your transformation, it would still be worth it because you notice. You feel the difference. You know you're not the same person anymore. And that's all that matters. This journey is sacred. It's not about being seen. It's about seeing yourself clearly for the first time. It's not about being loved by others. It's about loving yourself enough to demand more from life. It's not about being understood. It's about understanding that your peace, your happiness, your growth are worth more than anything you left behind. So let them notice, let them whisper, let them wonder, but never forget you did this for you. You leveled up because you refused to live a life that didn't honor your worth. You leveled up because you chose yourself. And once you've made that choice, once you've tasted the freedom of truly respecting yourself, there's no going back.